everyone, welcome back to day 5 of the 12 Days of Christmas series. It's Justine, and today we're going to be making this amazing card using an absolutely amazing die that is finally available on its own, which is so exciting. This die came out with the Create a Smile stamps card kit from last year, but it only came in the kit, and now it's finally available on its own because I think people realized how amazingly awesome this die is, and there's really nothing too much like it on the market, which is exciting. So I'm going to get started, and I'm going to start distressing my background for my card. I'm going to speed you up slightly while I do this. So pretty much my tips, as I explain in most of my videos, are don't put any pressure on your hand, have patience, you need to build up the color slowly in order to not get any harsh lines. Use a blending tool, preferably a rounded one. I find I get less lines doing that, and just be patient. Some colors I notice, especially with the mini distress inks, that some colors build up faster than others. I guess maybe some pads are juicier than the others, and I just say have patience and get started. So I'm using a full card panel right now. I know full well I'm going to cut this down, but this allows me to experiment with colors. I know that I'm only going to be using the middle of this, so I can see which cards blend nicely together on the edges before I commit to them. So far I've used Cracked Pistachio, Peacock Feathers. I'm going in with Broken China right now, and I kind of stopped at the edge because I wasn't too much of a fan of the darker blue color. I really wanted to keep this vibrant and fun and sort of more in the turquoisey shades. Same with the Evergreen Bow. I tried that one as well here on the sides, but that was too dark for my taste. And that's a really great way. If you cut your panel a little bigger, sure, there's going to be a little bit of waste, but you are going to get the result you need before you have to throw out your entire card panel because you don't like it. So again, I'm not going to be inking up this whole thing because I'm going to be cutting it down. So I pretty much ultimately decided on Cracked Pistachio, Peacock Feathers, and Tumbled Glass, and all of those shades worked really nicely together to give me that sort of teal, vibrant, and fun blue look. It wasn't going to be anything close to a night sky, I just wanted it to be sort of a non-traditional blue Christmas color. So I'm just slowly building up the color, and again I'm only going to go about 3/4 of the way down just to make sure that I have enough room here. I'm going back in with the Cracked Pistachio. I'm just adding the Cracked Pistachio and the Peacock Feathers throughout the card in various amounts, and then I'm just lightening everything up with the Tumbled Glass. And once I'm finished all this is going to act as a background underneath my die cut, underneath my white panel, as you saw at the beginning of the video. Now once I was finished cutting off all the edges, I'm going to show you this die here. Now this is called a negative snowflake because it's not going to cut out the snowflake itself as a separate piece, but it's going to cut the snowflake into your background, and that's why it's called a negative snowflake. So all those little dots you see and the snowflake are going to be cut out, but the actual outline itself is not going to be. So I'm going to take my distressed piece of cardstock and I'm going to place my die cut on here just to get an approximate size as to what I need to cut down my panel to. I don't want to make it too big because I don't want it to line up against the edges and to be able to see it against the white. So I noticed that going from the top to the bottom, this was about approximately a good size. So you just kind of need to see how big you need to cut your panel to go behind the die. I set my distress panel off to the side and I grabbed a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 paper. This is going to be my front card panel, and I'm going to attach this snowflake die on using some 3D tape, and this is masking tape, sorry, not 3D tape, it's masking tape from 3M, and that is removable tape. You can also use washi tape if it's not too sticky. I'm going to throw this into my Big Shot die cutting machine and die cut it so that all the pieces fall out. I'm going to run it back and forth twice. So now you'll be able to see when I take it off of my die cutting panel. I used a shim for this, so it does cut out all the details. So if you use just your cutting panels, you might need to throw an extra piece of cardstock in there just to make sure that it falls out all nicely. And the really great thing about this die is it's deeply etched, so those circles with my shim just fell right out. There was no need to poke them at all with a tweezers or a poking tool or anything like that. So that was really cool. And now you can see when I layer on my distress background, it looks absolutely amazing with that distress background panel coming out. Now that I've glued my panel, I wanted to glue this snowflake, which also falls out of the die, into the center. You can also add any sort of critter or anything poking out of the snowflake that you'd like. Next up, I'm going to grab my Misty tool. At this point, I've done way too much work to risk using a block on my sentiment, and that would maybe result in it being crooked or not stamped enough or anything like that. So I am going in with my Misty tool and I'm inking up my sentiment using black ink. This is using the Snow Buddy stamp set from Create a Smile Stamps. I apologize for the left side there. There must have been a little piece on the wood I filmed from in the screen, and that's why that is there, so I apologize in advance. I just wanted to add some embellishments too, so I added various things from Pretty Pink Posh. So these big ones here are called clear droplets, and they're really cool because they create sort of a 3D effect. They're almost like glass bubbles. And then I added some clear sparkly sequins to the insides of these bigger circles. Now, it did take a little bit of tedious work to do this. I don't know how good you are personally with sequins and fussy gluing and things like that, so it did take me a little while. So again, this is absolutely beautiful on its own, or you can embellish it as you wish. I'm not going to show the entire embellishment process, I just wanted to show you how I added them so that the video wouldn't be too long. Now the last thing I wanted to do before I show off all these sparkly fun embellishments is add up everything together, so it means putting it on a card base. My card base measures 11 by 4¼ inches, and it's folded in half at 5½ inches to make a top folding card. It's how I prefer my cards to be. It's always been like that. I'm going to add some Tombow Mono liquid adhesive to my card in order to glue on the card panel, and I'm going to glue that here in the center of the card so that there's a nice white frame surrounding the border. This card is a card with a lot of white space, but it's got a lot of impact and it is really stunning with those teal colors coming out, and those embellishments just make it. I hope you enjoyed today's card video tutorial, and don't forget, I'm doing a giveaway for a Create a Smile Stamps Smiling Snowflake stamp set. Just leave a comment below to be entered into the giveaway and let me know which has been your favorite card out of the series so far. Day 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Thanks so much for watching.